You know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow for many of you, but since some of you swallow anyway, take this medicine. You know how it goes. Listen. Repressed women, mainly my divine feminine, okay? We've stayed broke, broken, stuck, stagnant, and broken out. Repressed women stay broke. Repressed women stay ugly. Oh, did she say ugly? I did. Repressed women stay unattractive. Repressed women lack confidence and purpose and drive and volition. What do I mean by repressed? I mean repressed in your sensual and sexual energy. Repressed women are uncomfortable with saying the word pussy out loud. With saying the word pussy out loud, being uncomfortable with saying the word pussy is proof that you are uncomfortable with your own pussy. And I know this because I was one of those women. Can't say pussy out loud, right? We can't say pussy out loud. We can't do that. That is unladylike. That's not something women are supposed to say or supposed to talk about. This has kept us stuck. This has kept us stuck and out of alignment with our purpose, our powers, our mission, our beauty, our magnetism, and even with money. Yes, even with money. Demonizing, vilifying, and suppressing my sensual and sexual energy kept me broke, kept me broken and broken out. And I want us to talk about it. Suppressing your sensual and sexual energy keeps you broke and broken out. I'm going to tell you why. Welcome to Alcheminity. Because turning pain into power is sexy, I am your host and creator of this colony and the many colonies we're building around our globe, hell, around our galaxies at this point. I am your queen bee, Miss Burgess, if you're nasty, aka Nova, also known as the Gypsy Empress. Let's get into this message, okay? I got some notes in front of me. You know how it goes. I'm going to dive right in. I'm just going to dive right in because I just feel guided to do that. Listen, repressed women remain tired, broke, and unfulfilled. And I know this because I was one of those women. Many of you who are listening to this are one of those women, have been one of those women. Many of you who listen to this used to be one of those women, and you somehow was able to tap into remembering why you are here, who you are. You remembered your pussy's power and you followed suit. Remember how I say our pussies are our GPS systems to navigate her well? How do you navigate your root chakra? How do you navigate your pussy and allow it to guide you to your purpose? Well, in order to deep dive on that, become a member over on patreon.com/alcheminity. We talk about all the yummy, juicy, delicious stuff there. Over on my Patreon is where I have my most explicit content, videos, photos, articles, okay? That's where our deep dives happen. All right. Become a member over there. Over on Patreon. Lord, I'm stuttering. Become a member over on Patreon. It gives you the deep dives into more of this information. Let's get into this because listen, there's a lot coming up. The channeling is happening. This is what happens. You start to stutter a little bit. So let me get into it. I don't want to stutter. Right? Repressed women remain broke, stuck, stagnant, broken out of alignment with our power and our purpose. Again, I'm looking down because I got some notes in front of me. Let's get into it. So what is repression? Really, what exactly is repression? Repression is saying no to yourself, telling yourself your wants, your pleasure, your ambitions aren't allowed. Repression is feeling like you're unable to be both angel and demon. Repression is feeling like you're unable to be both beauty and beast. As we've talked about plenty of times here on our community, as you already know, if you've been subscribed here for some time, you cannot have one without the other. This is a love and a marriage. This is a divine union between your dark and your light. You can never have heaven without hell. You can never have beauty without beast. You can never have angel without demon, meaning you can never be fully in your light worker missions unless you've activated your dark shadow missions. Hello. Quiet as is kept. Quiet as is kept. You can see there are many of you, like I did, who suffered from the fear of the duality complex, right? Those of you that know, you know, I'm also a certified sexuality educator. Not only did I earn my bachelor's in sociology, I also went on to earn my master's in psychology, and I'm also a certified sexuality educator. And there's one thing I learned from the people that I've met earning my certification some years ago, okay? It was an investment to earn my certification of money and time. And in some of these conferences I would attend, I would speak at these conferences, or I would just be in attendance at these conferences. All right. Much of the information that came up and many of the people that I met in these conferences blew my mind, right? They blew my mind because I met people who were highly professional people in their day-to-day life. They were psychologists, they were therapists, they were counselors, they were teachers, they were educators, they were business owners, CEOs, okay, in the public eye, in their light. But then their dark nature, which is why they were part of the conferences that I was a part of, was because many of them were sex workers in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Many of them had kinks that they were, that they had exercised or were afraid in exercising because of their work, because of their careers. They were afraid of what the public would think if they found out that not only were they therapists, but they were nude models. Okay. Not saying that this is what you all are doing, but in a lot of the ways, when you answer the calling, when you activate in your sensual and sexual energy, a lot of your purposes and your missions and your callings will be unorthodox. It will be taboo. All right. You think when Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson, they grew up in the church, right? Do you think that if she hadn't answered the calling of her life, that she could have stepped into being Miss Jackson if you're nasty on stage, even though she grew up in church? Singing holy hymns and songs or whatever it was, and then be on stage, twirling and moving her root chakra around and grinding on men and bringing them on stage and driving them crazy. Do you think she could have activated her black cat energy had she not tapped into her mission, her power, her purpose? She would never have been able to answer the calling of becoming the black cat, right? She had to be able to do both, much like you. Many of you, like me, you grew up religious, you grew up in church, you grew up with these certain beliefs and traditions. And so many of you have felt stuck in who you are and what you are and why you came to this planet because you're afraid to show up in your erotic purpose. Many of your erotic purposes have to do with doing something that is considered unorthodox or taboo to the public, right? Many of you, in your day-to-day life, you work in very rigid, square corporate spaces. But part of your divine mission and purpose is calling you to step out and do something much more erotic, much more taboo. Maybe you're called to paint erotic portraits. Maybe you're called again to be a nude model. I don't know. Right? Maybe you are called to be some sort of dancer, creator, singer, writer. Maybe you used to write gospel songs and now you want to write kink songs. Okay. I'm thinking about what's my girls, the two sisters, Chloe and oh my God, I forget their names. You know the two sisters, and Beyonce discovered them on YouTube. They're so cute. Chloe and I don't forgot the other one's name, but remember when they started out on YouTube, they were like the innocent little girl next door singing the songs and just off, just yeah, you know. And the next thing you know, they're coming out with Ungodly Hour and Savage. And, I forget one of the sisters' names, but she stepped fully into her sensual and sexual energy. And when she did, what happened? Her career catapulted. Her confidence catapulted. Even her dating pool catapulted, right? The fear that many of us are suffering from is the fear of our erotic nature, is the fear of our erotic purpose. And when we fear our erotic purpose, this halts us from stepping fully into what we've come here to do. And when we don't do that, we remain stuck, we remain stagnant, we remain broke, we remain broken out. Do you hear me? Coming into your power, activating your purpose means answering the calling of your erotic purpose, right? What is repression really? It shows up in subtle ways. Again, I'm looking down because I have some notes in front of me. It shows up in certain ways. Again, biting your tongue, hiding your body, dimming your shine to make others around you comfortable. For many of you who've experienced the frenemy kind of thing, right? We've all experienced frenemies. If you're here at Alcheminity, you have experienced the, what was the movie that I referenced before? The single white female friendships or the single black female friendships, where you have these girls around you who you think are your friends, but the entire time they want your life. They want who you have. They want who you're dating. They want how you walk. They want the way you look. Hello. So many of us who've experienced these types of frenemies learn to dim our shine from at a very young age, because whenever we showed up in some sort of confidence, whenever we showed up dressed a certain way, looking a certain way, those certain frenemies looked at us up and down, saying, "Well, who she thinks she is? Oh, she thinks she all that, right?" And in order to save face and hold on to these friendships, what do we begin to do? We begin to dim, dress differently, cover up a little bit more, right? Biting our tongue, not saying what we really want to say. Many of us, our throat chakras are not activated, mainly because, of course, our pussy power energy isn't risen up to activate our throat chakras. But once you do this work in and on your root chakra, you raise this energy up from your pussy. It will rise up to your throat chakra. It will activate your throat chakra, preparing you and equipping you to say what you need to say when you need to say it. Okay. Now, this isn't about bullying your way in meetings. This isn't about talking over people, interrupting people when they're talking. That's not what dark divine feminine energy is, or this power is. That's not what pussy power is. That's not what being in your purpose looks like. It doesn't look like bullying. It doesn't look like hogging conversations. It doesn't look like interrupting people when they talk. But when you have the floor, have the floor. When it's your time to say what you're guided to say it. And I know how difficult that is for many of us, because we've all been taught to have this politically correct stance on stuff. Be politically correct. Say it a certain way. You have to, you don't want to offend people. You don't want. Here's what I have to tell you. When you activate in your purpose, when you activate your root chakra and raise that energy up, when you do this work on a root chakra level, on an energetic level to raise it up, your spiritual guides, your Kundalini serpent dragon fire will refine your throat chakra so much so that when you speak, it will land the way it's supposed to. There will be times when you feel guided to be politically correct. There will be times when you are guided to be as raw as you can be. For those of us on this journey, because we are beauty and beast and angel and demon, we are a little bit of politically correct, and we're also our raw, dark, divine shadow selves. Does that make sense? Right? So when you're in these meetings and you're guided to say certain things, you will be guided to say certain things a certain way so that it has the most impact. No, you wouldn't be biting your tongue. This isn't about biting your tongue. Okay? Because as you know, when you do that, you are blocking your throat chakra from activating. Many of you, your purposes and your missions are to be speakers, orators, singers. When you bite your tongue, you are holding back your voice. You're holding back your singing voice. You're holding back your speaking voice. You're holding back what spirit, the ancient ones, ancestors want to say through you. It's for you to say. It's for you to write. It's for you to sing, right? What repression really looks like. Every time we bite our tongue, every time we hold back, we are dimming that fire bit by bit. That Kundalini stays suppressed and demonized in the root chakra. That dragon energy doesn't rise up. You're unable to become the phoenix that is supposed to rise through the ashes of the old. That fire dies a little bit at a time, thus killing, suppressing, vilifying your Kundalini serpent fire, right? Now you hear people say, and I hear women say, "Oh, say what's on your mind. Speak up." But it's more than just speaking up. This isn't about speaking up, because a lot of the times, many of us didn't speak up because we didn't know what to say. But when you activate and do this work in and on a root chakra level, you will know what to say because you will be so grounded in your power and in your purpose and in your mission, in your confidence, in your magnetism. The reason you won't bite your tongue is because you will now know what to say. And how will you know what to say? Because when you're on the dark night of the soul journey, you're spending time alone. You're in the wilderness of your mind. You're in the wilderness of your mind. You're in the wilderness of your body. You're literally on the dark night of the soul odyssey. So there are times when you are going to be in your living room. For those of you who are already on this journey, you're in your living room with the candles lit, the lights off, and you are talking to your spiritual guides. And guess what's happening when you're doing that? When you're spending time alone, your vocabulary is being refined. Your throat chakra is activating and opening up and being refined. Sometimes people think that you're talking to yourself when you're in your living room. You're really talking to your spiritual guides. And your spiritual guides are talking back. They can't hear them. It's not for them to hear. It's for you to hear and for you to know. So when you're on the dark night of the soul odyssey, people are going to be calling you crazy. Oh, she talked to herself, right? They have no idea that you're talking to your spiritual guides. You're talking to the angels. You're talking to the demons, beauty and beast. When you're talking to yourself and you're alone, what you're doing is refining your language for your path. Because again, many of you are called to be speakers. When you're at home alone on the living room floor with the candles lit and the lights out, your spiritual guides are training you for that TED talk. So what sounds like to other people is that you're talking to yourself, you're really preparing for your TED talk. Are you hearing me? That is what it looks like when you are on the dark night of the soul odyssey and your root chakra pussy power is rising up, activating your throat chakra. You're speaking out loud because you can't hold it in. It's not for you to hold it in. So when you're in these places, when you enter these rooms and it's time for you to speak, you will know what to say because you've already practiced it when you were on your dark night of the soul journey. You already practiced it when you were alone in your living room with the lights off and the candles lit. You practiced it when people thought you were crazy. You practiced it when people thought you were losing your mind. All the while you were preparing and being equipped for your mission and your purpose. Do you hear me? Let's keep going. If y'all are liking this, if you're enjoying this, make sure you click the like button, okay? Make sure you click the like button. If this resonates with where you are in your journey, make sure you comment in the description box, in the comment box below, excuse me. Let's keep going, okay? So the consequences of holding back, when you hold back, it's not just your mind that suffers. As you know, we talk about when you suppress your power, your mission, and your purpose. When you suppress your sensual and sexual energy, your mind suffers, your body suffers, your emotions suffer. I talk about this in my book, Activate. Make sure you get your copy. It's available on Amazon in paperback or ebook. Okay. Unorthodox philosophies that explore anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts as symptoms of suppressed superpower. Get your copy. So once again, when you hold back, it's not just your mind that suffers. It's your energy, your body, your glow, your confidence, your beauty, your magnetism. When you hold back. And how does it affect your glow? As you know, we talk about when you're doing this work on a root chakra level, you're awakening and activating and rising up that Kundalini serpent fire power, right? When you activate, your light turns on from within. People can see it. People are drawn to it. You become a magnet. When that light is not turned on, meaning you are not aroused in your power and your purpose, meaning your Kundalini fire isn't burning bright. Let me tell you something. When your body glows, when you become magnetic and you do this work on a root chakra level, the glow that people are seeing in you, the energy and the fire and the heat that people are feeling from you is your Kundalini serpent fire, right? It is your arousal. When you are turned on, you are aroused. Arouse means energetically, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, you are turned on to your purpose, right? Like Esther Hicks says, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, right? Here at Alcheminity, we are tuned in, tapped in, and turned the fuck on. Your magnetism is turned on. Why? Because you know who you are, what you are, and why you came to this planet. You remember what your purpose is. That turns you on. And when you are turned on, you become magnetic. People are drawn to you. And the types of people that are going to be drawn to you are the types of people that are going to, the types of people that are drawn to you are the types of people that are going to help you fulfill your mission and your purpose in this life. When you are aroused, when you are turned on, okay? You are turned on to your purpose. You are turned on to your mission. Your spiritual abilities are turned on. The fact that some of you are psychic, clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyants, your empaths, your intuitives, those are your spiritual abilities turned on. When you turn those on, you are aroused in your mission and your purpose. Right? When you're turned on, when you are aroused, you begin to glow and you become magnetic. Okay? Some of the other consequences that we experience, those of us as the activated, chosen, and alchemists, when we're not in our purpose, when we're not in our missions, when we're not activated from our root chakra, when we aren't comfortable with saying the word pussy. Again, many of you uncomfortable with saying the word pussy is proof that you're uncomfortable with your own pussy. You're uncomfortable with your own sensual and sexual power and energy, right? A lot of this discomfort comes from some of us who've experienced some sort of sexual traumas in our childhood, right? Whenever you felt your energy rise up in your childhood and maybe even in your early adult life, okay, some type of trauma was attached to that. So many of us fear being aroused or being turned on because of the trauma that came with it. Many of you may have experienced some sort of, again, sexual trauma, molestation, rape, trafficking, human trafficking, whatever that is for you. Again, many of you can experience some sort of sexual trauma if you were in unfulfilling relationships. If you were in a relationship with somebody who was toxic, who was a narcissist, who was manipulative, okay? Even if you've experienced maybe unwanted pregnancy and STDs or STIs, these are all forms of sexual trauma that can hold you back from your power and your purpose and your mission. All of these will keep you stuck, stagnant, broken out, right? Again, get your copy of Activate. Also become a member over on Patreon for the yummy, juicy, delicious deep dives. Okay, there's some things I can say here on YouTube, some things I can't. And the things that are just too explicit for YouTube, I save that for members only over on Patreon. So make sure you become a member, okay? But some of the other consequences that we experience in holding back, all right? We feel tired, uninspired, invisible, unseen, rejected. We feel muted. Again, going back to the throat chakra, that not being activated. Feeling tired, feeling uninspired, feeling invisible keeps us broke and keeps us broken out. Why? Because you're not inspired to get up and give yourself a facial, right? You're not inspired. You're unmotivated to get up and do Pilates or go for a hike or go to the gym or do deep breathing. You don't feel inspired to do any of these things. Why? Because that energy that is meant to energize you, that energy that is meant to arouse you, to activate you, to awaken you is stuck in the shadows of you. It's stuck in the root chakra of you. It is stuck, vilified, demonized, suppressed in the root chakra, i.e., your pussy. Are you hearing me? Right? Feeling uninspired, feeling invisible. The reason many of us felt invisible on our Dark Night of the Soul journeys as activated alchemists and chosen ones, the reason why so many women, mainly my divine feminine women, have felt invisible is because we taught ourselves to hide. We taught ourselves to hide from things that we experienced in our childhood, yes, but we taught ourselves to hide from things that we experienced in past lives, past lifetimes. We taught ourselves to hide. Why? Because showing up in your spiritual abilities, showing up in your gifts, showing up in your talents, showing up in your beauty attracted hate. It attracted hate and haters. When we showed up before, our lives were on the line. Talk about 16th, 17th, 18th century witch hunts. Many of that for us, those memories stay embedded, in us energetically. It stays embedded in us psychologically. It stays embedded in us. And unless we do the work on the root chakra level to heal from not just this lifetime, but past life traumas, we remain stuck out of alignment with our purpose, our power, and our pussy. Do you hear me? Again, if this is resonating with you, make sure you click like, make sure you comment. If you're here at Alcheminity, this is your home. By the way, shouts out to all the new subscribers. Thank you for being here. Welcome home. This is your colony. This is your home. Make no mistake about it. Welcome home. Okay. For those of you who have not subscribed here yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that subscribe button. This is your colony. This is your home. Over on Patreon, that is our sensual, sacred sanctuary and temple. All right. Shouts out to those of you who know your past life was as temple workers, healing through your sensual and sexual energy, yourself and those around you. And remember, when I talk about your sensual and sexual energy, I'm not talking about sex. We don't teach sex here. Okay? This isn't about sex. This is about the energy of creation, God energy, goddess energy, which is sensual and sexual. Categorically the same, fundamentally different. If you want to learn about sex and put it on Tyrone, you better go down a Freaknik. Okay? This ain't that type of party here at Alcheminity. Alcheminity is for those of us who activate our sensual and sexual energy to heal, uplift, fortify, create, build, innovate, right? We tap into our sensual and sexual energy, not just for ourselves, but for those around us, for our family, for legacy. Let's keep going. We're at 26 minutes. I'm trying to keep these videos down to 30 minutes. If you want the extended version of this, become a member over on Patreon because it goes much deeper than what I can share here. Okay. Lastly, let's go to the last one here. The consequences of suppressing our sensual and sexual energy as divine feminine. Okay. The consequences of suppressing our sensual and sexual energy as divine feminines. When I say it keeps us broke and broken out, Spirit has given many of you glimpses or epiphanies into what your purpose and your mission are. And the reason many of us have suffered from being broke, meaning the reason many of us suffered from financial, instability over and over and over, like me, many of you probably experienced the same thing, but like me, I know what it feels like to be on food stamps. I know what it feels like to be on unemployment over and over again. I know what it feels like to be broke and broken out. And for me, like many of you, the reason many of us continue to be broke is because we were afraid, again, to activate our erotic purposes. When we talk about activating if you had asked me 5 years ago, could I say some of the things that I say? Could I write some of the things that I write as it relates to what I do here in Alcheminity, as it relates to what I say over on Patreon, as it relates to working one-on-one with my clients, saying the word pussy, talking about pussy power? I could have never done this just 5 years ago, right? And the reason that I was broke was because I couldn't do this. Because I couldn't say these unorthodox and taboo things. Why? Because I was afraid what people would think about me. I was afraid of what my family would say about me. I was afraid of what I thought my so-called friends would think of me. I was afraid of what men would think of me. Would men think that I'm too much? Would I no longer be dateable? No one would want to date me, and men wouldn't want to date me. They'll think I'm loose. They'll think I'm a hoe or something because I'm saying pussy and pussy power, right? That kept me out of alignment with my purpose and my mission because I was afraid to be erotic. I was afraid of what it meant to be sexy. I was afraid of what it meant to be confident and magnetic because whenever I would show up just a bit in these things, the hate came, the haters came, the frenemies came, the who she thinks she is came, right? Many of us, many of you have suffered from being broke and broken out because you are afraid of your sexy. You are afraid of your eroticism. You are afraid to be attractive. You are afraid to be magnetic. You are afraid to be the only female in a room full of men who just want to fuck you. Yeah. Become a member over on Patreon. Become a member over on Patreon. That's where our yummy, juicy, delicious deep dives are. Listen, many of your purposes are going to call you into rooms with people. I'm not going to even edit that out. It is what it is. Listen, my sister's here, y'all. I'm not going to show her, but say hey, sis. Say hey. Oh, hey. I'm not going to even edit this out. It is what it is. My sister is here, y'all. So forgive the noise in the background. Sorry. So listen, become a member over on Patreon because many of your callings are you're going to be called into rooms full of people that just want to YouTube. Don't give me a strike for that. This is why I have members only. Become a member over on Patreon to get the deep dive. Listen, there's an extended version of this. It's at 30 minutes. There's an extended version of this. I'm going to end it right here. I'll see you over on Patreon for this extended. Don't forget to get your copy of Activate. For those of you who are ready to work one-on-one with me, the information is in the description box. I am creating a special little something for December. You know, there's been a call for those of you who are ready to work one-on-one with me. I wasn't going to be doing any one-on-one consulting for December, but since the demand has been so high, I'm opening up special slots for those of you who want to work one-on-one. Check the community tab. I have some information about it there. You can email me. I'll send you some information, more details about it, or check the description box. Okay. I'll see y'all over on Patreon. Ciao. Ciao for now.